Oh my gosh, what a panel, what a speaker. We've got another great panel for you today. It's How to Enter Web3 as a 19th Century Collections Museum. It's going to be moderated by Diane with speakers Pierre-Emmanuel and Vinciane. It's going to be exciting. Get excited, give them a round of applause, and good morning to you. Thank you very much for being here.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Saturday morning. I see a lot of people already after the busy evening that we all had. I am Diane Drubay, the moderator of this session, and we will be talking about museums and 19th century and Web3. No, it's not a mistake. We are really talking about 19th century and Web3 and how this type of bridge can exist. I am here with Agoria, Sébastien Deveau, famous DJ, musician, and artist, and also currently exhibited at the Musée d'Orsay. I am also with Vinciane Jones, project manager at Trilitech, part of the Tezos ecosystem, and Pierre-Emmanuel Lecerf, general director at the Musée d'Orsay. So, Musée d'Orsay, 19th century, Web3. Well, we've been seeing museums exhibiting digital art around Web3 and NFTs. Back then, in 2018, at the ZKM in Karlsruhe in Germany, that's a new media museum. And then last year, we've been seeing a lot of museums also embracing this NFT and Web3 art movement, such as the Centre Pompidou. They acquired a few NFT arts. But also they are exhibiting it right now, so go there, check them out. But we've seen also the MoMA doing a few activations with Refik Anadol, and we've seen multiple museums, but mostly modern art museums or contemporary art museums, or museums already embracing digital art. So, 19th century, Musée d'Orsay. Can you tell us a little bit more about this journey, how everything happened and how everything started?
Should I start?
Yeah, okay. With pleasure.
Well, thank you all for joining the talk. I work for the d'Orsay Museum in Paris I've been working for 2 years, 2 years and a half. And when I started my job back in 2021, everybody was talking about NFTs, and some museums actually did some drops of NFTs. And we had done nothing so far in this area. But still, I should demystify something. This is not something not traditional for us. We've been engaging a dialogue for 20 years with contemporary artists, so it's obvious that at one point we should do something with digital artists, whether they be generative artists, NFT-based artists, crypto artists, whatever. So we started thinking about it back in 2022, and we met with Agoria, whom actually I knew before, and we started thinking about doing something together from an artistic point of view. But the entire journey wouldn't have been possible without Tezos and without you, because at one point we decided to be more, we felt the need to have more time to reflect on our strategy around Web3 and NFTs, and that's the reason why we participated into a fellowship, the WAC Fellowship. You might talk about it later. And most of the participants were cultural institutions, museums, but only a few, maybe just the Belvedere Museum and the d'Orsay Museum, were museums dedicated to collections of the past, not contemporary art museums. And the Belvedere and the Musée d'Orsay, I think, felt the need to engage in a dialogue with digital artists so as to create a resonance between digital art and art from the 19th century. And I think the reason why the Belvedere in Vienna and the d'Orsay Museum in Paris had the same intuition is that artists of the 19th century, they share a community of spirit with digital artists today. The artists that are in our collection were rebelling against academic rules. They were rebelling against the norms. They wanted to create something new. There was a burst of creativity in the 19th century thanks to technology, thanks to scientific progress, and thanks to a spirit of rebellion that we found is actually today rooted in Web3. And because of this community of interest, there was, or community of spirit, we felt the need to do something artistic about Web3. So we didn't want to do any kind of, we didn't want to make money out of NFTs. We didn't want to speculate about NFTs. We are not art dealers. We wanted to do something artistic. And thanks to Tesos and the partnership we had with Tesos, thanks to Agoria, we made this journey possible.
You just mentioned really briefly the similarities between the Impressionism and the 19th century art movements and the NFT art movement. Can you just unpack it a little bit more and explain us, how you see some similarities and what are the main characteristics and maybe values shared by both?
I will give you my point of view as somebody who works in a museum, but Agoria might give you his artistic point of view on the relationship between artists of the past and today artistic movement. But when you look back at 19th century, there was an aesthetic revolution every 10 years. A new movement emerged I'm talking about the Western world, actually. We are focused on Western art collection. But every 10 years, there was a revolution in art forms, in sensible forms. The Impressionists, of course, Van Gogh, Gauguin, the Fauvists, they were all revolutionizing the way we paint. And they did it because they felt the need to fight against academic rules, because photography was emerging, cinema was emerging. And same for architects. We're talking about painters, but 19th century is a wonderful century when you think about sculptures, when you think about architectures. And these movements went all in one direction, which is exploring new dimensions that were made possible thanks to technology. We are very close to the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is a baby of 19th century architecture, and it wouldn't have been made possible without the help of engineers and revolutionary architects. Same for the Statue of Liberty. Never would have it wouldn't have been possible in 18th or 17th century to do such a gigantic statue. So all these artists, they were exploring new horizons, and that was made possible thanks to technology and science. And I think this is probably the DNA that we are sharing with today's blockchain and digital artists. But this is my point of view. Agoria might have a different viewpoint.
Hello everyone. So I will try to first reconnect my brain, because I'm a bit floating after yesterday and the last weeks. When d'Orsay Museum and Pierre-Emmanuel called me a year and a half ago, it was a challenge actually to say yes, even if it's of course an opportunity that you can't refuse. But the challenge for an artist is to embrace the modernity of this museum, the authors and and the majestuosity of what is displayed in the museum, bringing back life to them through our technology, through my own trust, through my own discipline. So the challenge is to actually merge and converge this fantastic spirit of d'Orsay Impressionism and what we do, all of us here in the digital art. So the challenge has been to, the opportunity and the luck has been to stay many nights in the museum. I don't know if you saw the movie, but I was in this museum like many evenings, many Monday when it's closed, where I could totally immerse myself in it. And I had the chance to speak a lot with the conservators of the museum, and I discovered many stories behind all the paints we choose for Sigma Lumina. I don't know if you have been already experienced the Sigma Lumina. It's at the Cabinet d'Architectes, ou d'Architecture, where you can actually experience through a sculpture the light come to in, and the shadow on the floor will unveil a QR code. You're invited to scan this QR code if you're not too scared. And once you get the information, you can actually decide to say yes and blow into your phone. And at this moment, you will see the structuration of a neural network that will make appear these amazing parcels from paints from Monet, from Renoir, from Caillebotte, from many incredible painters. I did this with Johan Lecerf, which is a fantastic artist that I collaborate on it. So the idea was here to get this. It's all about time. We're speaking about time today, I think. And the temporal arch, the temporal gateway that we did with Sigma Lumina was something that was very important for me. Speaking about Impressionism, speaking about the modernity through both aspects, both directions from these authors and through our eyes of today.
And talking about technology, of course, like 19th century, Pierre-Emmanuel, you were mentioning a few huge revolutions, but today, 2024, blockchain technologies are also bringing these new revolutions. Vinciane, can you tell us more about, how the Tezos technology is actually serving this new artwork?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I think one thing that, to Pierre-Emmanuel's point earlier on about the parallels between 19th century art and the NFT movement today, I think that's particularly true for the Tezos art community, who has shown a huge willingness to experiment and has really embraced this new technology and explored it to such a huge extent. And is continuously exploring it. And I think that's something that is so beautiful, and the collaboration that comes out of that is also a huge part of this community. I think here as well with this project and the meeting of minds of 19th century museums and 21st century technology, collaboration plays a huge part in it. And so with Agoria's work, you're able to create your own digital artwork by interacting with your phone, blowing into your phone, and then you can take home that unique digital work with you as an NFT. And that process was a hugely collaborative one with Agoria, with Johan Lecerf, with the Musée d'Orsay, who is really willing to embrace this new technology and explore it as well, as Pierre-Emmanuel explained, but also with other partners from the Tezos ecosystem. So we work very closely with XIXth on the generative minting, as well as with Feral File for the wallet. And I think that ability of the technology and these kinds of projects to bring us all together to create something really special is one thing that makes this new technology exciting for all of us.
And I think, of course, technology is one part, but the human touch, human stories, human encounters, that's definitely something else. And something which is really special with the Tezos community is how people value the impact, they value each other. It's like this big family vibe that we can all feel. And back in the time in 2018, when I was exploring how blockchain technology could be used for museums, we actually faced some cultural clash. We could not really find how the museum value system could actually meet the blockchain value system. I think the end goal were actually just too different, and this was just not really matching. However, 2021 arrived, Hiket Nunc arrived, And from March, we actually faced a community which was all about impact, all about democratizing access to blockchain technology, all about bringing this really global community in this Web3 art space. And it was all about ethical impact, environmental impact, and about giving this sense of togetherness, which is still really, really core of the Tezos community. Agoria, you've been an amazing member of this community. You've been contributing greatly to the Tezos community. Can you just share maybe some personal stories or some emotional stories of how you feel about this community, and also why your artwork is actually calling people to become so intimate? Because I feel that's something which is also really connected to what is the Tezos community. It's about being yourself, being one human, facing something grandiose or something, something so new.
No, it's true. The community is very important, and the Tezos community, I think, is the most dynamic and the most artistically the most interesting in my point of view. There's two things I want to say about this. Like, first, when I started to mint pieces, the Tezos community is really pushed by the artists themselves. So the artists themselves, are not it's not an ego thing. They're all helping each other. There is a kind of a circle of people who are just sharing pieces for different groups and putting the lights on artists, helping artists. And this is something that is very, very different from all other aspects of the world nowadays. So this Tezos community for me was really, that actually Pierre-Emmanuel called me, because there is no artist without collectors, there is no artist without visibility, and the visibility actually that I get come from all the love and the support of the Tezos community. That's very important to say that if I'm in Orsay, of course, that's my name, Johan Lescu, and my partner scientist. But it's also, in my opinion, an art for all the community. And I hope, yesterday at the party, we try to invite as much possible people. I hope people felt this, because I could see through the faces, I could see through the dynamic of the event that everybody was thinking that's also their own party. And it's very important for me to think that there's no, sorry for the word, but there's no bullshit in this. This is totally true. This circularity of the ecosystem of the Web3 is why I'm here, why I think it's important, why I think we have value and we have a way to change in a little step-by-step, philosophy of the world. So I think it's very important for me to show this, and Sigma Lumina is actually an answer to that. Sigma Lumina we spoke about the painters from modernity, we spoke about using nowadays tools like neural network. But the third part of this is the visitor, and is the collector, and is the curious mind, which I think it's also very important. Tezos is a curious mind, most of all. I'm not speaking about artists or collectors. People who are on Tezos, people who are spending time to look for pieces, are the most curious people I feel nowadays in the art scene. So Sigma Lumina is actually paying tribute to that, because without you blowing, without you trying to breathe into your phone, cough and smile, or I even see someone putting his phone in the mouth, I don't know he did that, but I think this is something that could exist only because of this community. So it's also this circularity that I wanted to give an homage to.
And talking about visitors, Pierre-Emmanuel, can you tell us more about what happened for the past, 10 days, 2 weeks? The exhibition is open. How many visitors and how do they react to this artwork and installation?
Well, a funny thing, we started the project with a very small team, and they're all here, and I should pay tribute to them. Virginie, the curator of the exhibition, Constance and Guillaume. And at the beginning, when we started discussing with Agoria, we thought that within a 1 month exhibition, we could expect 200 or 300 minting a day, because we had done a survey of our public, and only 2% of a traditional public of a museum like the d'Orsay Museum knows about NFTs or has a wallet. So we didn't expect, we expected general curiosity, but we didn't expect that our traditional public would make the entire journey to until creating a wallet and collecting a piece of Sigma Lumina. I think that we have now reached 1,600 minting, maybe more, because we had a big party yesterday with a community of fans, so we might be over 1,600 minting, and there are still 3 weeks left. So it's a big success, and we're expecting more than 50,000 blowing into the phones, and many more visitors. So it's a very popular success, which means that NFT art, digital art, crypto art, whatever you call it, these artists are accessible to the traditional public of a museum today. People are expecting to see Manet, Monet, Bartholdi, Rodin, and all of a sudden they encounter a digital piece and they love it, and they do mint it. And they do not mint it because they are under 25. They mint it even if they are above 60. And I think this is wonderful, and this is probably our proudest achievement, is to make digital art accessible to our public.
Well, it feels like we want more, so what's next?
Yeah. Just one thing to add, I think, to the visitors. I've had the opportunity to chat to a lot of the visitors who've actually minted works, and for many of them it was, like Pierre-Emmanuel was saying, their very first NFT, their very first digital artwork, and I think that's also where Web3 comes in, and has changed the way people collect art. For people, they realize in that moment that they can collect digital art, and it is theirs, and it belongs to them. And that moment of realization, when they have it in their wallet, is really something very special that I've had the chance to experience with several people at the museum. So thank you to both the Musée d'Orsay and Agoria and Johan for giving so many people that opportunity.
And also, what I like with this Sigma Lumina project is, like, as Pierre-Emmanuel said, it onboards many people that maybe would have thought, like, digital art is complicated, wallet is complicating, and blockchain is a word that shouldn't exist. And people, when they come in the room, they don't think anymore about this, because there is something, I think, and it's not about digital art, it's by art in general, it's this sense of sensibility and this sense maybe of magic in a way. And when you touch this in any art or any people in any room from any kind of art, then people are all in. This is the thing, I think, that make people like, okay, I want to know more. There were so many people of 60, 70 years old like who want to know more about digital art. Like, wanted me to explain who are the artists. And I think that's thanks to Orsay Museum, because to be honest, like, they have been so open-minded since day one. We didn't speak about the second piece that we presented, but it's a movie, and they trust me till the end, and we finished the movie 5 days before the opening, and which is kind of incredible, like in a museum like Orsay, to trust the artist to the point that, yes, he will deliver in the end, he will manage it. So this curiosity, this open-mindedness is fantastic, I feel.
What's next?
What has fascinated me throughout this journey is how deeply rooted in art history digital art is today. There are always hints at artists of the past, references, tributes, whether they be direct or indirect. So, and Agoria's work is deeply rooted in art history. This is fundamental to us, that this belongs to art history. So this is one journey, this is not the last one, and we'll have other projects, artistic projects with artists from this community.
And just to say that this Tezos Foundation has a 1-year partnership with the Musée d'Orsay, and this was the second project in that partnership. And there is more coming in spring, which we can't quite say yet. But yeah, the open-mindedness, I think, of the Musée d'Orsay to really engage with artists, with this space, to really understand it, to come to these events, to speak to the community, to invite the community to the museum, I think is yeah, very, very special, and means we can do a lot of interesting things together, which I'm excited for.
Well, thank you so much. We can't wait to go back to the museum.
Come and see Agoria's installation. It's till March the 10th in our museum.